Hey, folks! Thank you for stopping by Kaiser's Castle. Uh, go ahead and take a seat on the big orange couch. Enjoy yourselves because tonight um, is a special time. We wanted to talk about Christmas, but certain things happened, and we're just going to have a free flow conversation, folks. Christmas is Christmas, it comes, it's not going to stop. Uh, And tonight, the beautiful part is, I have a brother of mine, and we both enjoy long walks in the boiler room and talking to our brothers. And his name is Kimi. And who knows where this show will lead, but we're going to talk about real things and just a free flow of conversation. With that being said, how are you doing tonight there, Kimi, brother?
Hey, brother, thank you very much. I'm doing very good. Honored to be back here in your castle, and greetings to all the listeners out there. I hope you're going to enjoy today's show.
I think so too. They're gonna take a seat on that big orange couch and they're gonna grab their coffee, tea, soda, and or adult libation, and they're gonna enjoy this because we're gonna just have a normal conversation. So, what do you think about whatever flows off your mind? Because I want to bounce off you tonight and vice versa instead of you used to bounce off me. Your thoughts?
Well, today it's actually kind of special day if you look at the stars, because I have to mention it as well. I mean, it's already known. You have this. I think you have Saturn overtaking Jupiter, and you can see it on the. If you are in Europe, you see it on the to the southwest. I don't know. Probably you see it also to the southwest. But then there's also the sun solstice, so it's the shortest day in the year. So it's two really special things right now going on, and I feel like we're going to have kind of restart. And yeah, for me, it's almost spring. I can feel it, like life is coming back.
Exactly. And the funny part about that is this is the solstice. You know, it sort of ties in with the Christmas thing. Um, when you see those two stars align, and we see it on the North American continent also, uh, it's a joyous thing because we know we're about to go midway into winter. And everybody forgets, too many people forget, that that was, in my thoughts, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it, um, that was a very special time where you knew, okay, the days are short, very short, and then the days get longer after that time. Your thoughts?
Well, I I really can feel it, like as soon as we are hitting this date, I can feel it somehow. I don't know why, but after the solstice, it's always getting better for me. Like, I don't know why. It's just some, it could have something to do with with energy, obviously, and yeah, with positivity, like thinking about things gonna get better, and yeah, that's always for me. So, I don't like autumn too much, like till Christmas, and Christmas it all starts from new and gives me some power, and yeah, and hope, and we all need hope right now because there's so much really bad things going on right now, and I can see now it's we're hitting something here. There, it has never been such a crazy time ever. Also for the U.S. and what's going on right now, um, in terms of the political things, has also like influence also to on Europe, like with everything, especially just the whole lifestyle, everything. Everyone can feel it. We need some hope right now, and I can feel that we are shifting into now to in our, can I say it, in our yeah, and it's more going to be in our terms, like that we are going to see what's we are now in control, like we're gonna get like further. Right now they had their place, now we are um on the bottom. So yeah, let's see how this will play out in the next upcoming months.
Yeah, I think the 6th will show how it'll play out on the 6th of January. That's why I wanted to talk about Christmas because the politics of this shit is just retarded. Um, it's retarded in a lot of ways, but you already know those ways. So if you want to talk about that, or if you want to talk about Christmas, or whatever you want to talk about, man, this is your show, and that's all I'm saying.
Well, I want to talk about um what we can see, what will come, like what kind of
Yep.
changes will come, like I can see the rise of like man get being man again, like appreciate families, having children,
Yep.
raise them, staying at home, like looking for them. So yeah, taking your responsibility at every part in life, and and sticking together, and that what that's what motivates me to see that, Um, sadly, in my area, I don't see it that much, but I have a few friends here that already had this, like it's my grandfather always said, like it's when a man says one word, he has to do it also, he has to apply on his word, so I can see that's coming back at full swing, and yeah, we have to touch on those old rules and the old system, how it was, how our grandfathers and grandmothers built this society, and this Western Jewish Christian culture, and rebuilt rebuilt or like kind of fix it, get back to it, realize what we have, be thankful for what we have. And I think in Christmas, especially right now, realize how it was, because our parents were like that, our grandparents were like that, and Christmas was special, and they fought, like you said, they fought for everything, and they celebrated Christmas and this time and the family, and we should look for each other.
Oh, I agree with you completely. All you have to look at is the 1917. A lot of people forget this. It was a joyous experience, and that was in World War One. When people were shooting at stars, they literally shooting at stars. There was a war going on, folks. Uh, Paul McCartney did a video of it. I would love to play it, but of course, I get struck down if I did anything like that. But we weren't shooting at the Germans, um, Western wise, and the Germans weren't shooting at us. And there were absolute people sharing pictures of their kids, their wives, humanizing people. And that's something we're seeing now, is the dehumanizing of people in all of our nation states. The mask is one thing. I've talked about this. The other thing is dehumanizing people that, oh, on the left. Don't talk to them. Don't talk to those people. Yeah. Don't talk to them because you want to dehumanize them. Um, we need to realize that we're all in this together on this big blue marble that spins around that little thing that gives us heat we like to call the sun. And remember the guy who's Galileo, who said we spun around the sun? Oh, what they do to him? Oh, let's figure that one out, right? Um, Folks, there's a lot of things that they say you're anti-science. No, none of us are anti-science, on the left or the right. But we are propagandized. Your thoughts on that, brother, and run with it for a second.
Well, we have to get out from the propaganda. We have to be like kind of unpolitical, like we have to find ourselves on common ground, like be as human as you can possibly uh, be, like we have to look for each other, we have to care for each other, like at all and on all levels, that's what was lost, and that's what's at stake in general. So people right now are reporting on other people when they meet up with their families right now in Europe. They meet they call upon the police if they see neighbors ordering pizzas, more than 5 pizzas, not good. Maybe the police will show up. um, all those things are in play and are devaluing our society and destroying the the faith in other humans, and makes you hard and makes you not trusting anyone. So I would rather see that we are
Yep.
trusting each other again, and like connect with each other, and find each other again, and yeah, stick to each other, um, and yeah, in what world do you want to live? Do you want to live in a world where everyone is your enemy, or do you want to live in a world where everyone is potentially your friend? You know, you should, we should definitely build build that thing that bound us together, like, again,
I agree with you
family,
wholeheartedly. Yep.
family, and values, and thankfulness, and loyalty. It all starts also with loyalty. Like, we have to stand up for each other. You have to stand up for your neighbor if he gets attacked, if the police comes, and like that. We see all crazy things in Europe. I don't know if I can tell it right now, but you see, like, people getting arrested for just jogging outside. Um, you're getting you see all craziness, what you can't see in uh, in the States right now, but it also will, or it will not come to you. I hope that you make an example for how we should live in this Western society. We are humans, and we should respect that. We should be nice and good, and that's how it's worth to live, and not this dehumanizing, um, anti-religious, anti I don't know. It's like, this communistic thing, like
It's
this demon that is right now everywhere. We just have to say goodbye to this and stick to our way.
it is a disrespect to our ancestors. It's a disrespect to our religions, no matter what religion there is, to do this because it is about dehumanization. Nobody wants to talk about the reality of this shit. And it's done by governments. This is communism. And that's my opinion. I mean, you can disagree with me. Look, everybody on my page, and including you, you've been my brother for quite a while. Um, we may not be military bros and all that stuff, but you know my heart. You know what I think. That's the most important part, is that we open up honestly. And this is what they don't want you to do. When you look at what Antifa does, everybody forgets. They don't realize when they're doing their speakerphone thing. Uh, when they're somebody comes up from the other side and says, "Hey, how you doing, man?" or whatever, they're told not to talk to them. They just start shouting their little things. That's communism, folks. And I've seen this stuff since the 80s. It's sad for me because it's sad in a way. Let me rephrase this. It's sad in a way because I understand what they're doing, because you're just dehumanizing people. But I guarantee you two things, and I can guarantee it two ways, and I can also tell you on the boiler room at alternate current radio. You know what you'll get there is people can disagree and yet not be disagreeable. That's a fact. You'll find that on PSN radio network. You also find that on WPRPN, World Pirate Radio Podcast Network. these are the places I have found um, that they give people a voice. It doesn't matter. They could disagree. A matter of fact, I had an entire hit piece done on me on WPRPN Radio Network. And that was done by a brother of mine. But he also pushed back because he knew me. See, that's the difference. You know, you can have somebody from Antifa saying, well, this dude's super this, that, and the other. And the other guy's like, yeah, not really. And then, honestly, that's the thing we've lost too. Our ancestors know who we are. Um, but here's the funny thing for you to answer to. Our ancestors know who we are. But the funny part is, so does Christ. And it doesn't matter who you are, you can be forgiven. And we've lost the ability to forgive other people. Your thoughts, brother? And I mean that.
Yeah, we do, but I think there's kind of two right now. There's kind of two groups of humans. They're like people with this kind of um, anti-human thinking, you know, like as I can just a little example. Some guy in German newspapers said, like, if you don't get the you know, like the the aluminium shot into your physical appearance, your you lost your uh, credibility, you know, like to go um, to the hospital if you're sick. So if you're very in a bad condition, they shouldn't treat you then. So the media and so on, the news portals, they all the time. I just saw it like 4 or 5 times, almost the same story as I just told, in a different aspect, you know, like dehumanizing the people. You know, you have these guys, and you have it's like the positive and the negative. It's basically Star Wars, you know. It's basically the dark side and the light side, you know. And if you're not religious, we can stick with that. There's a dark side and a light side, and the dark side people want to destroy. It's you know, like they have so much hate in them, you know. They just want to destroy. It doesn't matter, you know, like they can be on the left, they can be on the right, they can be you know, like, I don't say where they are, but these kind of people are there, you know. And then there are these people who want to build, who want to rebuild, who want to fix, who want to forgive people, you know. I do mistakes, you do mistakes, everyone does mistakes, but at the end of the day,
Hell yeah.
if we together, if we rework what we destroyed or what we did wrong, and we say sorry to each other, or say, hey, I didn't mean it, or I give you my hand again, then we're doing something very special, very creative. We built, you know, this is how this society was built. It wasn't built on um, on hatred. Hatred doesn't work, and I don't mean the hatred that you can see all the time in the media and everything with hate ideas and something like that. It means really like this despicable, like this almost war or warlike propaganda, you know, like forget this, like we have to go back into a level that we see each other as valuable human beings, like every life counts, so
Yeah,
you have to think about that.
just like the Christmas miracle of 2017, like I brought up, or not 27, uh, 1917, during the Great War. Um, the officers on both sides, they made the Germans the Huns. Look, I'm a Dago and half Dago and half Kraut. Whatevs. I don't care about that stuff, man. But what I do care about is what I see now. And the propaganda is being spilt. And when I say spilt, I hate saying this, but it's being done by part of our own on the U.S. side and the Western side, your side, governments. And folks, your enemy is not the other guy. I hate that left right paradigm. You know this, Kimmy. Everybody who knows me knows. I hate the left right paradigm. It's not left right. It's hold your arms straight out from your side and then bring the tips together. Both sides of that left right fake paradigm, when your fingertips meet, that's where mass deaths happen. This is for real. And it's because they vilify you, they divide you. But both people, when they divide you, they both are looking for mass deaths. And one of the biggest things I saw lately is, well, we need to give minorities or low income people like me from a trailer park back in the day. I assume, well, maybe I guess as a trailer trash piece of shit, I have white privilege, so maybe I'm not including that. I don't think anybody I went to school with would think that. But we're supposed to get shots before the old people who are actually at risk because they may not. And I hate to get conspiratorial with you, but those old people don't tend to vote for the people that want to bring in communism. And it's maybe because they have some institutional memory. Your thoughts on that, brother?
Yeah, it's just divide and conquer. I mean, it's nothing new, and I think people who hear this podcast already know, and yeah, we have to overcome this. Like, I think people who listen to shows like this or to others, they already part of this thinking. They don't have to be educated in anything. Like they're already aware of it. It's just I think what we should do is like spread as you do. Like I always fail on that sometimes, and because I'm human, definitely, and I get overwhelmed as well. But we have to stay like all the time like positive. We have to build. Our our thing is to build. It doesn't matter. Build relations, build friendships, build families, build houses, build farms, build. Like build more than the others can destroy. The other came to destroy and steal, and you come to build and create and defend. Okay, that's our mission. And
Yep.
it doesn't matter if you're poor, if you're rich, if you're if you're heavy, if you're light, it doesn't matter. Anything doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you close your eyes, You can't see any colors. You can't see your weight. You can't see nothing. You can just hear a voice. And um, dudes, we are girls, we are all the same, you know. The only difference is what we have inside, in our brains, in our souls, how we decide how we uh, want to live this life, how we want to treat each other, you know. And we have to decide on being a builder, good guy, you know. This is my Christmas message, maybe, and this is also kind of Christmas show. Maybe we do a second Christmas show or a real Christmas show, but yeah, we should really like take you know, like we have to paint this on our flags, you know, like we have to write down hope on it, you know, and put it everywhere, you know. As soon as we see negativity anywhere, we have to say like, no, we're going to stick with each other, we're going to build, we're going to rebuild, and we're going to look forward into the future, because now is our turn, and we're gonna make it count.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I will say this. Um, I've had many guests on, and one is a blind guy. He's been on several times on my page, and he didn't know what color was. Um, he talked about this. You know, they had friends, but the blind guys and gals got together when they were being abused at certain point, and they all stuck together. Now these are people that had limited or no sight, and yet they fought back. If you can't fight back at this point and you have sight, what kind of person really are you? When people are attacking you, when they're trying to say just over words, they hurt, really? Look, unfortunately for most of you on here, I grew up in the 80s. The 80s was a whole different era, folks. Um, it was actually the best era. It was the best era. And you know why that was? Back then, you had shows on that had people from all different races, blind, sighted, whatevs, you know, fat, skinny. It didn't matter. We didn't have critical race theory. We didn't have critical theory, period. Because they have critical fat theory, they have anything. I'm sure there's critical blind theory out there too. I'm sure it's all been pushed. Critical race theory, all that. No, we didn't have that. And I can tell you this for a fact. I dated a black girl all through high school. Oh, imagine that. I just said black girl. No, she was a lady. And here's the thing that nobody understands. I'm still friends with her. I think highly of her. There was not a thought. We actually didn't see color. We didn't see fat. We didn't see any of this stuff. And I knew dudes that went out with black girls, white girls, whatevs. And that was not even a thought. A fat girl, you know, we joke around a lot of times about this, that, and the other. But in all honesty, those dudes liked who they liked. And the girls liked who they liked. So the morons that keep trying to divide us try to divide us on arbitrary bullshit lines. And how did we lose? And this is a question I'm going to pose to you, brother. How did we lose the line, and you and I both know certain things about certain things, and we know how to speak about it. But how did we lose the ability to be, I would love to say blind? I don't think it's colorblind, fat blind, or any of that bullshit. But we just didn't judge people we judged them by a certain thing that Martin Luther King pushed out was not the content of their color or their fat or whatever, but their character. I mean, I know a dude that, yeah, anyways, all I'm saying is, folks, we've gotten our signals crossed. We've gotten everything going wrong. And I'm not cucking either. I'm happily married for 27 years to the best woman on the planet. And I'm sure that my friend is happily married to the best man on the planet. Look, don't get this shit twisted. When you're young, you're going to be a whore. You're going to do whatever. And I'm talking as a guy. You're going to be a whore, maybe. Maybe you're not. I hope you're not. I hope you are perfect. More perfect than I was. I hope I know my son is more perfect than I am. But there is something that we've gotten something twisted. And your thoughts on that, brother? Sorry I went too long.
I'm thinking about what you said before, basically with the thing that when and how, like I think in the 80s and in the 90s, everything got so uh, cultural, like we had like I don't know, we never, like some of us guys, we never spoke about like um race or you this or that. We thought like that's kind of rude. We were all like together. I never thought about this guy looks like that or this is Hispanic or this is guy has everyone has their own background, and it didn't matter at all, and I think it's like poison, like af- after like the media they created it, they put it everywhere a bit, like you had is all this you had this kind of um let me call it the right way. You had to call it. It was kind of um going the right way, like with everything, so it was always the authorities, always like the media and so on that were too late in introducing others or just casting like only white people or something like that, like in our in our ways in our minds we have never thought about that, so it's the media who talks with themselves, they did something wrong and then they come out years later. Everything is just, I mean, like we had like a very peaceful society till like 2012, 13, 14, and then things start to develop into more into cancel culture and like like divide and conquer, it started with like small stones, like oh it works when we going to report this guy and this guy, or we going to call the police on this person, like these prank calls and everything with this is so interconnected, uh, like it's all kind of part of destroying the trust in each other or dehumanizing people,
Yep,
like
keep
taking
rolling with that.
taking
You're on the right track. Yep, it's the internet.
they're yeah, I mean, like, it's you don't have to say it's not a bad in the internet. It's not a bad thing at all. It can be used, and it is used for like 50% good things, and 50% bad things. And uh, the difference between good and bad is us. And the trick is not to buy into propaganda. Everything that divides us. Like, uh you know we are humans. We do slurs, we do say something bad to each other, but um take one corpse to another, burn it down to the ground. We have the same bones. We are one race. There is nothing alike. We are one human race. Okay, it's just one. Okay, we have like different ideologies, we have different creeds, we have there are like I said, there are the light guys, there are the dark guys, like the we have so like we have to be like what we wear, this thought, this idea of being good, like I remember really like the 90s. Everyone wanted to be like nice to each other, and like building
Yep.
each other, and I miss this so much, like no, like they took the trust from us. That's the big topic with it. They said like everyone out there could be your enemy, and that's a lie. Don't buy it. If you hear this transmission, don't buy it. Like really trusting your neighbor and your friends and so on. That makes you rich, and we shouldn't let this uh, taken away from us. We have to get it back. Like I can see like I don't know if you like science fiction or movies or I don't know what kind of things you like, but I remember watching like Star Wars and so on, and everyone was just like as a kid we were focused on that, like on films, and we were all connected with each other through positivity in those films and everything, and
It was a wanderlust. I know exactly what you're saying, brother.
and that filled this up, like we played computer games together, and these were the topics: computer games, movies, uh Lord of the Rings. We had books, we had this and that, and you still have this, but you have this stupid political topic. We don't need any political people or any organization who tells us how to behave with each other. Be nice to you, to everyone, and um, expect the same. Okay, and
Yeah.
then you will get what you want at all levels. And
Yep.
if you can't, you have to connect with each other and work with each other. If you work with each other, you can build something, and if you can build something, you can dominate things. And
If
you're only as strong as your neighbors, as your friends. You can't
I
get
agree.
over them. You have to work with them, and this is done the best in a nice manner. So
I agree. It boggles my mind that and I will have my two brothers on. Um, they were military police brothers. We're just trying to reeve it up. Bobby and Roger. and Roger was my roommate for a while, and Bobby knows how he knows me, but we all lived in the same barracks. And when I say barracks at this point, we had moved out of um, a barracks that was communal, where we all lived together. We saw a lot of shit in that barracks, dynamics. And when you mentioned how things were back in that day, those two men, um, they are who they are, and I will never shit on them. And I'll tell you why. Because they were stand up men. Were they the same race as I was? Nah, not at all. Not at all. But we had each other's backs always. I was supposed to. Anyways, we'll talk about that with them, and I'll make sure I can tell the story, and they can tell the story. And you see how they tried to divide. You can see how sometimes, even in the military, they will try to divide people. And it happened only one time in my life. And on that instance, I fucked the prosecutor who expected me to say this, that, and the other. And when it went to court martial, I said nothing about that because it wasn't the truth. I was under oath. He's trying to guide me to say things. And that's the whole thing. They're trying to guide you. But what he didn't know was my first agency. And he didn't realize I could spot the bullshit. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do, folks. Spot the bullshit. Look to everything. I don't give a fuck. And I say this all the time. Look to the extreme right, to the extreme left. And guess what? Truth lives in the middle somewhere. You decide. Somehow critical thinking. Critical race theory. Critical fat theory. Critical whatever theory, right? All that is trying to make you forget that there is actually something that used to be called critical thinking. They're trying to short circuit your thinking. That's the biggest thing. You look at everything and you come to an actual decision from your own mind without being biased. I used to tell people back in the day, read Soldier of Fortune. Go look at everything back with White Iron Resistance. Go look at everything from the black, what do you call them, on the left side, which I don't believe in that paradigm, but since we're going there now, look at everything from the black Jews, out in New York and how biased they are. And we saw some of that with the Nicholas Sandman thing and the setup. But they're all communist. But they don't even know they're being used. They're being pawns. There's a gentleman on YouTube, something Jesus, Hotep Jesus. He's very balanced. It's hilarious because you would think, with my opinions, Hotep Jesus is black. It's a joke for him. I know what he's doing. The Hotep movement, and I know where he's at. He's slightly on the right. But he's also a critical thinker, just like Tim Pool. He's on the left. Same thing with Dave Rubin. You have to look at all these things and come to your own decision. That's critical thinking. And I'll never forget when I was in high school in the 80s, before I went in the military, Reginald Wagstaff was, and I actually met him when I went in the National Guard later. Um, we used to call him Count Blackula because back then they could smack your ass. They could beat your ass if you did something stupid instead of suspending you or expelling you from school. And that's just what they called him. And he was a great guy. Awesome dude. You'll never hear me talk a foul word about him. And you'll never hear me say if he ever spanked my ass. But what I will say, that man, uh, after I met him in the National Guard, that was corporal punishment back then, by the way. That man, when I went into the military at 17, graduating, he goes, "You signed up for what?" And I said, "Yep. My mother had to sign me because I was not of age." And the beautiful part was, he goes, "You know, you just wrote a check to the U.S. government. I will give you everything, including my life, to protect the United States Constitution. And people need to read the Constitution and the Bill of Rights because the Bill of Rights is your civil rights in the U.S. You give me your thoughts coming from your part of Europa, brother."
Yeah, I wish we had the same. I mean, like we have some similar things, but they constantly changing things. You know, like we had today we had like a we had like a private conversation, and I talked about the whole dilemma with the gun laws, and the gun laws changed here dramatically. It was almost like in the US, and now they can decide and prohibit everything, you know. And yeah, so that's, you know, like that's I think the second amendment is more important than the first, because with the second you can get the first back and others, you know, or
Yep.
you, and actually that should be like the keystone. And that's also like the issue with other European countries that you see are going down rapidly because their own citizens can't like can't get rid of politicians that are misusing money or doing unlawful things, because they always find like new laws to implement
You
what they did wrong, you
you
know.
said
So
something you said something very critical, and I have to interject for a second, brother. Citizens. They are now thinking of all of us not as citizens. No, no, no. That's a Western philosophical argument. They're not thinking of us as that. They're thinking of us as subjects of a crown, the rules of admiralty. I know what's going on. That's what they're trying to do to us. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Your thoughts on that?
so that the idea of the US, and I can personally, my personal experience from, you know, my family was always in the US, but in the US, in Europe, but we knew many people that went to the US, you know, like I mean not me, but like my ancestors like 150 years ago and so on, we had like many people who starved here, and then they went to the US to get a better life, and the crazy thing about the US is everyone there is a little king for itself, you can get a car, you can get like the American dream is basically a like you're in control of your life, so you can build something and nobody comes into your garden and destroys your stuff with political nonsense. Okay,
Right.
so
You're right.
this
And
is the
and and
this yeah.
the car thing is important. It wasn't until the U.S. was having cars massively, and then Europa did it very shortly thereafter. I mean, you guys had your Stanley steamers and all that stuff happening at the same time. Roughly, technology was rolling at that time. But the interesting thing is, the U.S. was so expansive that people were driving. They were no longer having to take horse and buggy. And it changed America. And that's something that even happened in Europa. And then the denial. This is something I'll bring up. The denial of the Autobahn, which, people can say this, that, and the other about Hitler. Okay, whatevs. But the point is, our U.S. system of highways is based off the Autobahn. And that was under, I'm mind dumping his name now, President Eisenhower. And that's why it's called the Eisenhower Freeway System. And then there's inner and outer belts. And you also have the freeways. And that's why we built them during the Cold War, that the bridges can all shade or hide a B-1B bomber. Believe this or not, you can land a B-1B bomber on a highway or any other jet, and they can hide under a bridge. And the same thing in Sweden. And the same thing in Germany in certain places. And but that was an invention from a guy that we can both agree maybe was twisted, not maybe, was twisted, but he had a spark of an idea. And that's the thing. In the West, we've had the free flow of information, and some of it, that information, just like we would never, and people will talk smack about this when I say this, we would not know about people freezing to death and how that happens if it wasn't for the cruel test. In the same way, we wouldn't have known about that with people dying of heat exhaustion and all that stuff. And we wouldn't have known about rockets. But we can't tie ourselves down because of where the information came from. And that gave the world, I mean, the Chinese are in space. And they are our foremost enemies on this planet. If it wasn't for them and everybody else being able to co-opt all that information. Your thoughts?
Well, you said a lot of things right now. um, well, where can I start? I mean, like, I see it as we are hitting on a culture war right now where we have to decide where we are going. And if you think our life or our way of life was shit before, and everything was shit. Uh, the last 20 or 30 or 40 years, um, you're living in a dream world. Okay, we had like a very good years, and we were very safe. And this society is destroying everything that we built,
I
and
agree.
we we shouldn't allow that. Basically, we shouldn't really allow that. It's not about, like they don't need to, like back in the day they had wars, right? They, like, and wars always were good for benefits and for and making money and so on. And now it's hybrid warfare. It's asymmetric hybrid warfare. That means like you're going to
Fifth generational warfare. Right. You're
yeah,
right.
you're going to produce problems. I mean, like you can everyone can relate to that. If you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, wife, um, if you
Or
have
husband.
a
Right.
or a sister, a brother,
A
or
mother,
whatever,
a father. Right.
a
Yeah.
mother,
It's family.
or if whatever you want, you can pick your gender as well. I mean, like I don't you can do, I mean, like I'm not a person that you can pick whatever you want. Okay, so you're gonna have issues with people. Okay, um the trick is to overcome the issues and find something that connects with each other. Oh, we want to get this good food together. Let's work together, right? So think about that. And these guys figured out that it's stupid to have like one country fighting each other or one continent fighting each other. They want that we are fighting each other so they can harvest what is left. They get the bread and the crumbs and everything, and our money, because like 50% or more of that will vanish. So we shouldn't fight with each other. I mean, honestly, really, 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 we shouldn't do that. That's, I mean,
I
that's the
agree.
key, that's the key point. Like just um, understand that we are all sometimes stupid, and we need to be forgiving and try to learn, and yeah, be nice with each other, and we
I
will be
agree.
like successful again. Like find ways to work with each other, and you will. So
Well, that's I love what you said there because I'm going to tell you something. You said harvest something. You always hit on things when we talk. It's always been that way. And this is a real talk with me and Kimmy. Uh, there's no dynamics put on this talk, but my wife and I, we did some cookies, and my wife spilled some truth to me. I had no idea. Artificial flavoring for vanilla. Okay, when you see artificial vanilla, she was like, we get vanilla beans. And I always was like, why are we paying all this money for this vanilla bean? Right? And because it's more expensive than the artificial. And she pulled this up this year and showed me because I was like, what's going on with this? And do you know where artificial vanilla comes from? Just your thoughts. You can tell me if you know or not.
It sounds familiar, but I can't really, I don't know where it comes from right now. I can't remember.
Okay, it's from the I can't remember what part of the butt. And imagine this: a butt of a beaver. So we harvest beaver glands from the butt, and somehow some poor bastard somewhere had to taste that at some point, and that became artificial vanilla, and that is legit. It's just like I was the one who told my wife with chocolates. Um, Whenever you see a certain word that's on chocolates, uh, it's ground up roaches. And this is the kind of stuff they've done to us. And we don't even realize what's going on. And yet we still keep muttering on. And the only reason that came to Hill was my wife reminded me when we were watching something. They're talking about something called sewage oil in China that they're feeding their people. Well, the sewer oil that they're talking about is actually feces. And just imagine what we're normalizing now. If you're normalizing things that aren't proper, I mean, you and I, we talk about end times and stuff, and to be fair, uh, a lot of people on my page know, yes, I wear two things on my neck. I wear, for my ancestors, I wear both Dago and Kraut. I wear Thor's hammer because I celebrate my ancestors and the traditions therein. But I also wear a cross. And the reason for that is I believe in Christ. And I can't forget my ancestors, and I can't forget the only reason I will ever get into heaven, and I do believe in Valhalla in a different way, because Valhalla to me is heaven. It is where the guarantee of Christ always was, if you believe in me, that's the minimum, not the maximum. If you believe in me, he said that to the thief, you will be in my house when we die. And I have no doubt that's the truth. Your thoughts?
Well, what can I say? I mean, like I personally believe in Jesus Christ, and through his sufferings that he brought he bought my personal peace, like
Yep.
um,
Yep.
forever and ever. So for me, he was the strongest warrior there ever was, because he fought the wars not for himself, because of because
For
of
all of
us.
us. Yeah.
He sacrificed basically himself, like he's perfect, right? So
There's been one
we
perfect
have to.
person born on this planet supernaturally. And it wasn't me. It wasn't you. It wasn't anybody I know. It was him. That's a fact.
Yeah, so we're you said something before, like we're before you said we're touching on end times thinking, like, and ideas, and you said that because there's many artificial things right now going on, and um, you know, in the US you have more artificial food and stuff than here, like for your listeners, maybe you don't know it, but I come from Central Europe, a little place called Switzerland. So, and
Right.
in this place, um, you have bad things and good things. Um, Good things is artificial generated food are forbidden. Okay, so genetic
Right.
modified food and crazy things like you said, some of these things are forbidden, and um, they are not forbidden because they like us so much. It's just that the people who live in borders, who are kind of internationals, they want to have like normality, right? And
Right.
this normality, they don't want to control, have any everything ordered, special for them. So they want to go buy groceries like normal people, and so you have uh, kind of good food. It's expensive, but you have good food here, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
then right now there comes this special thing. Let's call it, like the beer flu thing, and now we have this aluminium shot. You can get that you're not get the beer flu anymore, and this thing is made up with it's genetically modified, so it changes your DNA, so they're coming right now with this kind of thing. So
Oh yeah.
we should we should we should really like get away from this modifying things or genetic
We should
modified
we should
stuff.
ponder it. We should ponder
Yeah.
it and think seriously about it.
Hmm.
Because
Correct.
the entire look, um, I'm a Trump supporter, uh, but the whole hyper speed. First off, it's a flu. It's a fucking flu. We need to protect the people that need to be protected. But to me, at this point, the only reason I'll take it, honestly, is to scheme the system. If friends of mine can't buy concert tickets, I'll take that shot. That way, I can find other people who took that shot, and we can buy the concert tickets for the people that don't want to take that shot. In all honesty, because I've taken shots in the military. Anthrax, man. I've got that in my body. Paradystospermine bromide, which was nerve agent pretreatment from the Gulf War. I've taken all kinds of poisons in my body. I'm gonna die when I'm gonna die. But if I can make some profit off it, I'll do that. You know why? Because that way my friends who don't want to take it, I can buy their shit for them. And that's where we have to have our mindset at. What's your tolerance? Well, my tolerance is I'm not dead yet. Yet. I will die someday. But at 52, going on 53, quickly, I just don't give a fuck. And that's where we need to be. We need to be where it doesn't matter if you don't want to take it or you do. You have to just realize, don't give a fuck. That's what they want you to do. They want you to care about your social standing. You think I give a fuck about my social standing, bruh? You know me better than that. And that's the whole point. Your thoughts? And run with it for a minute.
Yeah, yeah, it there are there are kind of different issues with that whole thing right now, and don't want to go too deep with it. But there there comes many issues right now with it. Um, I heard people said like, yeah, you shouldn't right now in the news you shouldn't be allowed to travel and so on. Like full biblical craziness, mark of the beast style, uh, repression, that you can't move and buy and sell and do stuff anymore. And I don't know, I don't believe that it is this. I think it's something else, and I don't think it will be overall mandatory. I can see that they are trying to do that, but I don't see them hitting it and being successful with it. I definitely don't see it. But I could be wrong, like I could be wrong that in 2 years everyone has to apply or they can't do anything anymore, you know, and everyone has to decide for themselves what to do, And for me, the stakes are too high, so I'm going to stick with that right now. And
What's up, brother?
you're back.
I'm back now. So, what were you saying? I had to step away for a second. I was talking to my wife.
Yeah. So I think it's not going to be a full Mark of the Beast style. Like it could be. It could. Like it, there are different possibilities that are playing out right now. It's so hard to read where it goes. Like like if I could be like very dramatic, I could say like, yeah, the Mark of the Beast is here next year. Oh, panic, panic, panic. Like, um, I don't think so. I think this is
Right.
something else, and
I agree.
this is
It's ridiculous because in the Bible it says no man will know. Um, I do think this is a push for some sort of one world government.
yeah,
But
yeah, exactly.
I you know, monetary funds. We need to see where this goes, and everybody needs to moderate. Without being conspiratorial, they need to moderate what they think on that level because just watch it. There was a radio show by some dude. He was a big. This is back in the day, and I at night on stakeouts and shit like that. I used to listen to all kinds of shows. Art Bell, um, a couple financial shows, and there was another one. I can't even remember the guy's name, but he had a show called Be Still and Know. And that really was the point. Be still, relax, and find information. And you decide what that information is. And that's why I'm a big fan of open source intelligence. Robert David Still, why I disagree with him now on certain things like Q. Um, I will say his best advice was open source intelligence because you will find more intelligence through different papers and everything. That's why I say look to the extreme left, the extreme right. The truth will lie in the middle. Your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like it's this time now where we are all witnessing is the time where you can't see what is dark or what is the light, what is good or what is bad. You can't see it. There's so much shadows going on right now, so you have to check everything. Yeah? So you're really checking all the facts and the people and what they really say. I mean, like educate yourself, read more, yeah, and yeah, it's hard times make like a good society. So um, let's keep on rolling, and let's keep on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, yeah, it's a chance for us. It's a chance to grow, and like some people don't make it. Some people, like maybe many people, will lose themselves in stupid things like hatred or like um, material things, and I don't know what this world is all about right now. Like I live in this world, but sometimes I have no idea what is the motivation or the engine of people, like uh it, it has to be peace, but peace can't come when you talk bad about others. So it like I said, I mean, like it's either destroy or build. So you have to decide
Oh,
on one.
I agree. Look, you know as well as everybody else in the BR, the Boiler Room on Alternative Current Radio, and same on PSN Radio Network, and the same on WPRPN, World Pirate Radio Podcast. All of you guys know I make my living in war. And yet I'm the most anti-war man because I've seen what it is. And there's probably others like me. A matter of fact, I know there are. Just being honest with you, war is not something you ever want to see. And the West, we've gotten too comfy, uh, exuding war to other nation states. And when I say nation states, it's a capital S state. That means those states are those states, not us, right? So we're very comfortable doing that. And just like with slavery, everybody forgets under Obama, the slavery markets, thanks to Hillary, were reopened in Libya. There's a reason why in the Marine Corps hymn, if you've ever heard that song, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, those slavery markets are now reopened in Tripoli. And it was because she destabilized it by pulling out Gaddafi, he jumped in bed with the CIA and said, I'm not going to do any more weapons of mass destruction, all that stuff he was doing. But what he did do was run afoul from the banks, because he was pinning their dollars, or their equivalent, quote unquote, dollars, instead of it being petrodollars. He pinned it to gold, and that's why they took him out. Never doubt me on that. That's a fact. And many Americans died on that because of her. She's evil. So was Obama. And Obama's, if you think his, I've said this before, this is a fact. I was there in Iraq where we got Ugandans. This is in '09. This is a fact. And I was working for a certain company. I'm not going to say their name, but they knew who they were. And we had all these Ugandans at a certain base. And they were all over Iraq, by the way. And they made per month $600. That's what they got in their hot little pockets. That's a whole year's worth of wage for them. Think about that. You can make that at McDonald's in America for a month. For real. But the president or prime minister of Uganda, it was a president, I believe, was getting $2,000 per head. That's what the company was paying them for. And the reason why I know it's human trafficking is accidentally I opened up a drawer, putting their training records in. I just took these dudes out to go shoot, and girls. There wasn't just dudes. And I was joking around with the project manager, or program manager, and I opened that drawer up and I saw all these passports. I always wondered why they didn't have their passports with them. And they're like, oh, they keep them in their rooms. We let them do that. And I see it. Well, they're human trafficked because they don't have freedom to leave. They have to ask somebody to leave. I went to DCIS. I went to AFOSI, Air Force Office of Special Investigations. I went to for the Army and the Marine Corps. I went to why am I mind CID, Criminal Investigation Division, and I went to NIS, which has been renamed and was renamed then to NCIS, Naval Criminal Investigation Service. And nobody would touch it. And it wasn't until I got back home, a brother of mine called me up who worked for DCIS, Defense Criminal Investigation Service. He goes, Shuff, you're exactly correct that was a problem. But because of Obama's Aid for Africa program, that's what he called it. That's what he called it, folks. This is the first time I'm probably talking about it publicly. Maybe I've talked about it before. I doubt it. He goes, yeah, it's his Aid for Africa program. Nobody's going to investigate it. Guess what? Nobody did. Nobody did, man. Your thoughts?
I think all this, like people who don't know the information, I mean, like, maybe they don't have time to get all those information, and maybe I'm too pessimistic, but like, I mean, like, you need like a day or something like that, and you sit in the internet, and then you look who's really racist, or who does really like hurt these groups or these groups. Like, these guys don't they they don't, like, we are all peasants for them, so they don't care about us, like, about if we are that race or that and that religion, or like, it doesn't matter to them, as it only matters if we hating each other to them.
I agree. I agree.
That's the whole the whole deal, and you're going to you piss them off if you're not doing that, and you shouldn't do that at all. You should be investing your time into researching what's really going on. If you know that Obama Mr. Obama bombed like whole marriages and I don't know what craziness, all this Libya stuff where you have like slavery markets right now, uh, all this craziness, like you should really like take this and feed that into people who believe in kneeling politicians in America. I mean, that is so fucking cynical. I can't, if I would be like, uh, uh, like an African American person in the US, I would be so fucking offended to see these Democrat idiots kneeling. Like they're just, you call this gaslighting, right?
Yeah,
They,
when they were kneeling with kente cloths around their necks,
what,
which were slavers back in the day. Imagine that one.
I mean, these guys, you should read about eugenics. You should read about all these things. Like they hate mankind. They don't hate colors. They hate mankind. They mock you. They
Yep.
mock you, and they sell you bullshit, right? And if you're buying this, you're trapped. You get played. You get like like it's like Bush said. Like they fool you twice. You know,
Well,
they first fool you into fucking you up, and then they fool you into buying them into them again. Say no.
it's the same thing I talked about on another program with a brother of mine, uh, McGee. He was my bro. We worked together, same agency at that time, in '04, and we were down in Georgia. Uh, Anyways, so he, before the project went on, um, he wanted to get this book, How to Make a Slave. And I was like, okay, whatevs. And this is back when the computers, you could find out, from Google, where you could find this book, How to Make a Slave. And it was written by a slavery captain on a ship. And it was funny. He read it and he goes, "You need to read this, Shuff." Now, where we're staying was FLETC, Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia. And of course, they go through everything every time you're in uh, a federal agency and going through training. The maids go through everything. They go through your drawers. They go through all of it. But you already know this. And so I hid it a certain place and I read it. It's more like a pamphlet, not a book. It wasn't very long. Everybody should buy it. I honestly tell that every time. And it was like, to use the words and the phraseology of the day, you must make the negress, which is the black woman, dependent upon you, not the Negro, the man. And they're all slaves. It's actually horrific for the well-being of their children, and they're just breeding stock. It's like dealing with cattle, is the way that he was talking about them, for their clothing, their needs, health, whatever, right? Um, and I'm reading this, and I'm like, he was pretty. I will say this about my brother: he was pretty myopic by looking at it. This is what the black folks go through today. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll read it, man. I'll see it. And at that time, I'd started to become pretty libertarian. And I went up to him and I gave it back to him. And I said, I read it, man. I said, but do you not see? They're not just trying to do it to the blacks, they're trying to do it to us all. And it wasn't until I went on a job very near where he lived, and me and him and his wife got together, and we're all eating. And he goes, Shuff, you were right. They are doing it to us all. And that was in 2000, I believe it was 2008, when I was working in the area of the United States where he was at. And it's kind of fascinating. I will tell everybody, I recommend that book to everybody, white, black, Hispanic, Chinese. Don't believe me. And don't believe Kimi. Do not believe us. Research what we say. We don't want blind. Look, a leader makes other leaders. If somebody ever wants to make you a follower, run from them, because that's cultish shit. I'm not a cult leader. I want other people to be leaders to make other leaders. And if you get followers and you listen to me thinking, I like my small channel, I don't want leaders that want to make cults. No. I want people to make other people leaders, and read it and come to your own decision. Don't believe me. Don't believe Kimi. You research it yourself. And a matter of fact, go to the Buller Room on Alternate Current Radio. Go to WPRPN, World Pirate Radio Podcast. Go to PSN Radio Network. And I will tell you, all of us have that same philosophy. We're not trying to make you believe shit. You just have fun, do your research, and find out for yourself. Your thought?
Yeah, the self-thinking, logical, human is the greatest threat for organized dehumanization. So if you educate yourself, if you have no fear, and if you see more friends than enemies, and if you want to build, welcome to the creed of humanity, where we all stand as one, and we get better and stronger, and at the end we will win.
Yep. And we have done a good show, and at this point, it's getting late, and I want to make this super positive at the end. Folks, I'm going to hopefully, Bobby and Roger and I do a show before this Christmas. And hopefully Kimi and I can do a Christmas show. But at this point, I think this was an important show. Research everything we talked about. This is something that I think you should know. And but Merry Christmas. Stop thinking about politics until January 6th. Just live your life with your families. Don't worry about the bullshit because there's going to be a lot of it. But at this point, that's what I'll say. And you have the last word, Kimmy, brother.
Well, yeah, really go into yourself. Try to get calm and don't listen to too many voices out there. Don't read too much. Turn off your phone. Read a book. Calm down. Maybe you find God, or whatever you want to find. Research like spiritual things and read The Art of War. Do something for yourself. Build something. And happy Christmas and God bless all of you.
Thank you very much. And with that being said, folks, Kimmy got the last word, and I love it, what he said. And with that being said, I will slowly raise the drawbridge. And as you meander on out of Kaiser's Castle with your coffee, tea, soda, and adult libation, after you've been sitting on my big orange couch for this many amounts a minute, which I do appreciate. And make sure to like, comment, and definitely share because this was an important conversation we just had. With that being said, Shuff out.